back this week. How was your week?
It was okay.
Okay. Last week we kind of discussed you were going to talk to Molly a little bit about your treatment. How did that go?
It went okay, I guess. She's still kind of what I would consider pretty ornery, and I don't see a lot of support from her, but we were able to talk a little bit.
What was her reaction when you told her?
Well, I told her that I was getting some counseling and that I really would like to see Sarah and be back together as a family, but she was really clear that we're not going to get back together until I get some help and I quit drinking and that. She doesn't even know about the cocaine use.
Right, I know you were really concerned about that last week and not wanting her to find out. So it sounds like, she still is a little bit resistant maybe to listening to you.
She is. I know that she heard me talk about how I felt like I was doing what I needed to do. She acknowledged that she knew that I was in counseling, but she reminded me that I've been drinking so heavily that it's going to take a lot of time.
How did that make you feel?
Pretty shattered. I just really feel like I would like to have her and Sarah in my life to be able to help me through this, but having the distance and not being able to see him is really, really bad for me. It's depressing.
I understand that it would be very hard to have your loved ones that far away. Were you able to talk to Sarah at all this week?
She let me talk to her for just a minute, and her birthday's coming up, and I'll really have a hard time if I don't get to see her for her birthday and be able to be a part of that. I've already bought her a gift and really look forward to that. But when I talked to Molly, she said that she didn't know if she'd let me be around for the birthday party because I always get drunk for those. I've drank in the past for that, and she just really doesn't want to have what she considers a ruined birthday party for this time for Sarah.
That sounds really tough. It's very, very hard to miss her birthday. You're that close to her. I know that they're very important to you. Last week we discussed on that ruler where you were at in your readiness to maybe make a change. And you said you were maybe a 4 or 5, kind of unsure about that. After your discussion with Molly, are you feeling any differently?
Yeah, I've thought a lot about that. I thought a lot about that, and especially when she told me that I couldn't go to the birthday party. I am just really realizing that she's pretty serious about it, and I really feel like I'm close to losing both of them. So I feel like I've moved beyond the 4.
Okay, where would you say you're at now on that scale of 1 to 10?
Do you have that?
I do.
Wow, I was really low last time, wasn't I? I was even in the unsure zone, just before that. So 10s are ready. I probably put myself at about an 8.
Okay. What do you think made it such a difference this week?
Well, I think it really was impacting when she said that I couldn't be there for the birthday party. That's coming up in just a couple of weeks, and the holidays too, and I just really can't see facing any of that without my family.
And what will you do if, even though you get started in some treatment and are working towards doing better, and Molly doesn't allow you to be there for that? How would that impact you?
Well, I don't know. I haven't even really thought about that because I just really feel like there's got to be a way that if I'm showing her my interest in trying to stop my drinking, that she'd let me see her. So I really haven't even thought about that.
Okay. So say you get started in your treatment and you're doing well, do you think Molly would respond well to that as far as letting you see her?
She didn't say anything about that. I just really pushed that I wanted to be there for the birthday party, and she just really emphasized that she wasn't going to have the same thing happen that had happened in the past with me coming drunk and destroying the party and making Sarah feel bad and her feel bad. And so we didn't really talk about she didn't give me any consideration for whether or not I could be there. So.
Okay. think you would need to do in order to work towards her allowing you to be there?
Well, I think I need to continue to come see you, and she doesn't even know how my week's been really for what I've tried to do to stop drinking and that, so it would be nice if there was a way that I could include her in on knowing, but there's times that she won't even answer the phone for me.
That's gonna be tough when you wanna discuss it with her and she's not always there for you. But it does sound like she's concerned if she's, you know, working towards telling you, you know, what she feels would be best for her and Sarah. So that's a plus too, if, you know, she's willing to work with you at all.
I hope she is, because, you know, I don't know why she'd want to just give up if I'm trying, so.
And I know you mentioned last week that she had threatened to leave if things didn't change and moved out until there are some changes made. And so now that you're making a step in that direction, maybe she'll be a little bit more supportive if you can explain to her your treatment process. Do you think that would be?
Yeah, I'd like to be able to give her the numbers and just so that she can see the movement that I feel and how ready I am to make changes. But of course, you know, knowing Molly, she'd probably say, well, how come you're not at a 10? And I'm only at an 8. She would probably really ask me that.
And how would you explain to her your level of commitment for right now?
Well, when you've had the history that I've had related to how long I've been drinking and the fact that there's times where I still struggle with it, I don't know that I can actually say that I'm a 10 today because I have that fear of making an error, of drinking again. And so to tell her that I'm a 10 when I don't really feel like I can tell her that I'm a 10, I think is only destructive to her and me too.
I definitely agree with that. And I think that she would be understanding of that if you were to explain it in that way. And I know that you've made a big jump from last week to this week, from the 4 to the 8. What do you feel like we can do from here that would help you boost up to a 9 or a 10?
Well, I'm not really certain because this last week I still continued to drink a bit, not as much as I did before, and I used cocaine one time.
Okay, what would you consider, how much were you drinking this week?
Well, I was able to go without drinking on Monday, just coming in from the weekend, but going back to work, I was able to do that Monday, be sober on Monday, but Tuesday going back, I felt like I just had this really powerful craving, and the guys decided that they all wanted to go and watch the baseball game and at the local bar, and so I thought I could go and not drink, but that was pretty much impossible to do.
Okay, that's very understandable. So it was easier on Monday after we met last week, and then you kind of had that fresh in your mind probably. What do you think it was that was the main push Monday that helped you to not drink on Monday?
Well, I had the weekend with that being around the guys and away from work, and I worked out in the garage and fixed up my car and changed the oil and did some things like that, and I felt really good. So going back to work Monday, I've been able to build myself from having been drinking before, and I just felt really good going to work on Monday, and then all that changed by Tuesday, so that was pretty discouraging.
I definitely understand that with the stresses at work. It seems like you mentioned last week as well that it's kind of a high stress area for you. What are some other things that you might be able to occupy your time with that you enjoy doing, like working on your car throughout the week?
Well, I don't have a lot of hobbies, but I do like doing mechanics and that, so I don't know, you can only change the motor oil a couple of times a little bit of time, so I don't know, that's a good question. I'd have to think about that for a while.
finding, you know, maybe some other little odd projects that you've been wanting to do that would help, you know, keep your time busy. Is there anyone else or anywhere else that you would have felt like, you know, you could have watched the game with, or somewhere where you wouldn't have had such temptation?
Well, you know, usually it's been a tradition in the family to be able to watch the game with Molly and Sarah, but I think that was the other thing that pushed me into drinking, is that we've usually done that together as a family, and when the guys asked me to go, that's where I went. So I really don't know. I'd have to think about that. I don't really feel like I have a lot of friends right now, because all of them drink and like to do those kind of things, and I seem to be the only one that has a problem with drinking too much.
Okay. What do you think, with Molly and Sarah, was that, when you would watch the game with them, was that an area where you would drink as well, or was it family time without the alcohol?
No, I always had a beer during the game, and that, you know, to celebrate and watch your team. And Molly seemed to be okay with that at the time.
Okay.
So that's, you know, I don't know. She never said anything to me when I said watch the game and have a beer and that. You know, it's not like Molly doesn't drink too. She drinks. She has a beer here or there. So.
Was it just one beer that you would have during the game?
Well, it depends on how the game's going.
Okay.
If my team wasn't doing really well, I'd probably have more than just one beer, because it was kind of sad to see a team lose.
Right. It's kind of frustrating. Did Molly ever mention anything as far as that bothering her when you were at home with them, if you were to drink?
Only if I'd become drunk, if I'd had too much.
Was that something that happened often?
Every now and then, because sometimes I'd black out afterwards and that, and she'd tell me that I'd had a lot. So, but I don't remember having a lot while I was doing it. It just seemed like sitting there eating chips and salsa and all that, and then having a beer or two, and then I don't remember after that.
How did that make you feel when she would, you know, acknowledge that that had happened the next day or whatnot?
Well, it made me feel like crap, because she'd just get on me and start chastising me and cursing me and threatening to leave and tell me what a loser I am and that, so.
And that'd be very, very tough to hear from your loved ones as well.
Well, yeah, because sometimes she'd even involve Sarah, and Sarah'd be around to be able to hear that, and who wants to be told that you're a loser dad in front of your kid?
Right, that has to be very frustrating and very hurtful.
It was really bad.
You know, I've got this other handout that I would like to work on with you. It's got some costs and benefits of both continuing to drink and, you know, your cocaine use. You said you used one time this past week. Was there something that precipitated that, or was it just
Well, it was just that we went to the bar and we were all drinking, and somebody had brought some cocaine with them and mentioned that we could go to their house afterwards and do a line, so.
okay. So just more because it was there than you seeking it out.
Right.
Okay, well, that's pretty good. I guess, you know, that at least it wasn't something that you were looking for this week. So with this paper, we'll go over some of the benefits and costs of if you were to continue, and we'll give you that to kind of look at. Okay. So if you were to continue, you know, drinking and your cocaine use, what would you consider some of the benefits of that to be?
The benefits, well, helps me forget Molly a little bit and the pain that I have with not having my family around.
Are there any others?
Just that I don't have to fight that feeling of wanting it. I mean, that goes away pretty fast when I drink.
Okay. Kind of takes care of the cravings then.
Mm-hmm.
benefits that you can think of?
Well, all the people that I work with, that's what we do. We've been doing that for quite a while, being able to go to the bar afterwards and be able to relax after work and that, and just have fun together.
Okay. So that's about three benefits there. Can you think of any costs that you might come up with if you were to continue?
Well, while I get to forget Molly and Sarah at the same time, the cost is that she's made it pretty clear that if I don't stop, that I'm going to lose them.
Right.
So, and I guess that would create a pretty long memory for my mistake.
Are there any others?
Well, it's pretty expensive to go to the bar with the guys and drink, because we are doing that at least 2 or 3 times a week, and the booze is pretty costly, and then you use cocaine. And the first time I used it, it was given to me free, but since that time, it's pretty expensive. So I'd probably do better with my budget if I could just continue some of those things.
Okay. So, your costs, you don't want to lose your family altogether. It would help with your budget, it sounds like,
Right.
as well. Are there any other costs you can think of you continue using?
Well, while I'm doing that with all the guys at work and having a lot of fun, my blackouts, I've been sick from work and I haven't been going to work very much.
Okay.
Calling in sick, and that's pissing my boss off a lot, I know. So,
Probably makes your relationship a little bit hard at work then.
yeah, it does.
What about health benefits or, costs? Is there anything there that you can think of you might have?
Well, I've been having the shakes more, so it's getting harder to cover up my drinking.
Both, it sounds like with your family and at work.
Yeah.
Okay. So it sounds like there might be a few more costs than benefits to continuing. I'd like to move over to this other side and look at if you were to stop drinking and stop using any cocaine. What type of benefits would you see there?
Well, the number one thing that I can think of is that I would have Sarah and Molly back. Would be the benefit for stopping, because that's what she's promised me. But at the same time, I have a real worry that what if she's only telling me that and that she really doesn't come back? Maybe she's just building herself to get me out of her life. So I think the benefit is really she's told me that she would come back, but I have a little bit of fear around that.
And that's definitely understandable, and something that you'd probably have to discuss with her further, but definitely a big benefit if you were to have your family back.
Yeah, it would help a lot.
Okay. And I know you said that a cost to continue using was that it was pretty expensive, so a benefit to stopping also might be that you'd save some money and budget a little bit better with that.
Yeah.
Are there any other benefits you can think of?
Well, I've always really liked my job, even though it's pretty stressful, but the stress has been even more when I can't show up to work because you miss a day of work and you're behind. Like, it's really hard to get caught up if you're sick and you're not at work, so it would be nice to be able to perform at the level that I was in the past.
Okay. And that would probably make a better relationship with your boss and coworkers as well.
Yeah.
I know we talked about hobbies a little bit earlier, and you said you don't have many, but you do enjoy spending time with Molly and Sarah, so you would be able to do more with them as well if you weren't at the bar. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, I'd really like to go to that birthday party and that, and spend more time with them, and be able to be a part of the family rather than just, on the couch.
Do you think you'd have, outside of Molly and Sarah, have benefits with extended family if you were to stop?
Well, I could probably get my mother-in-law off my back, which would be a real benefit. She's been nagging a lot and that, and severing relationships because of my drinking and that, and they don't even know about the cocaine.
Yeah, you said that that's something you need to just kind of keep quiet, or it'll probably make things things a lot worse than they were. As far as costs to stopping, what do you think might be?
Well, the only cost that I can really think of is we go through that list is it would be pretty costly in my mind if I did all this and then I just in the end lost my family anyway. So
Right, that's definitely something that sounds like it's really kind of wearing on you.
yeah.
The thought that you might lose them even if you do continue through treatment and stuff.
Yeah, because I don't know what the point would be if she just leaves me in the end anyway.
Right.
So,
Are there any other costs that you can think of to stopping?
well, the other cost would be is I know that some of the guys think I'm a drag at work because whenever I say I can't go to the bar and go drinking with them after work, like on Monday night, it was like they were pretty stinging in their comments related to that oh, come on, it's not going to hurt. And so I feel like that they probably wouldn't stand by me for very long. I mean, I would probably lose my friends at work and have a much different relationship with them if I didn't go to the bar every night and go watch the game and do the things that we do as guys and talk and tell dirty jokes and have those type of things together.
And how would you react to that if you had to make a change in your relationship with the guys?
Well, we're a pretty tight-knit group because of the type of work we do, and so we really depend on each other, and it's kind of like your brothers together, so I don't know how they would treat me. I mean, I fear that that's how they would be, but I can definitely see that it would change the dynamics because that's the way it's always been and has been, so I think that would be a hardship.
And you said before we were talking with the benefits that it would increase your productivity, so do you think that would affect your relationships at work or just after work with those guys?
You know, I was always a top performer and carried the group and was kind of the lead guy, and so, but you know, that actually created some jealousy amongst them, with some of them, not all of them, but some of them, that I was in that position, and so, I don't know, maybe that would recreate some of those old issues related to me being like the top man on the performance list.
Do you think it might motivate some of them to perform better as well?
I know that there were a few of the guys that would always come to me when they had questions or they needed to know how to do something, so, but that wasn't everybody on the team. That was just a couple of the guys that were new would want to come and ask me questions because of the good work that I did, so I would imagine that those guys would still be there for me.
So we could add that probably to the benefits side rather than the cost side, as far as having people look up to you and your job place again.
Yeah, and you know, I really liked it when I felt like that I could train and teach the new guys, and that they'd come to me. That made me feel good about me.
Is that something that you still do at work, the training?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
how do you feel like it's changed?
Well, with my trembling and being a little bit slow mentally, I haven't been as good, and then missing work. I know that I heard some of the guys talking about, oh, he's been drinking again, and don't go to Sam because you know he's not here, he's not having a good day. So I know it's changed things.
So those would be definite benefits if you were to stop your usage then at work.
Yeah, it would be.
Okay. So looking back over, what we just discussed, how do you feel as far as looking at the cost versus the benefits on stopping? It seems to me that there was more benefits than costs if you were to stop.
I think you're right. I think it's a little bit heavier on the stopping the behavior and rather than continuing the behavior. You know, and even though it's a chart and it shows all that, I guess bottom line what I really want is a
So it sounds like you're ready to make a step then in working towards, in making a change.
Yeah, I would.
Have you looked into any treatments at all?
I have, but most of the treatment options for me are for alcohol, and underlying it all, I'm kind of concerned about the cocaine use, because this last week I was really surprised at how I felt after I used cocaine. And I found myself thinking about that quite a bit, and it was laced in there with the alcohol and my cravings for alcohol. I didn't feel like it was as strong on the cocaine as it was the alcohol, but when I looked at the treatment programs, it seemed like most of them were focused on the alcohol, and so I wondered from you if you could tell me what your opinion was on that, if I need to be looking for a program that treats both, or what, or if I just go in for the alcohol if that's sufficient, or what's your thoughts on that?
Well, what type of treatments were you looking at?
Well, I was looking at just all kinds of programs, and there's not a lot related to what I can afford, but there was some inpatient and outpatient. But when I called and talked to him, it was basically that they focused in on alcohol, and I didn't really find, there's some support groups that are for cocaine and those type of drugs, narcotics, NA, but there really wasn't anything that was truly a treatment program where I could go and have some real treatment around that. So
Okay.
you're what I've got for right now. You're the only one that knows that I'm using cocaine.
Okay. What do you think you would prefer as far as inpatient or outpatient? Did one stand out more or less than the other?
Well, I have a real hard time thinking that I've got to go into inpatient, because I do that, then I'm away from work, and I've already made a mark on my performance and my attendance with my boss, so I can't imagine going in and telling him that I'm going to have to be 30 days at least into a treatment program, or maybe I could come out sooner than that, but I just really can't see me going into inpatient. But yet there's times where I feel like it'd be really nice to be able to go inpatient, so that I'm totally removed from being able to access alcohol and cocaine.
Okay. Do you feel like that would be what it would take to get you a clean, sober period, is to be in somewhere where it's not available versus trying to do it on your own outpatient?
I'm really kind of lost on that question, because like I said, I just was exploring different options, and I don't even know if I would qualify for inpatient. I feel like that would be the easy route if everything lined up where I could leave work and I could afford that, and my insurance would pay for that. But that's the big ifs. I don't know if I can afford it. I don't know if my insurance will pay for it, and I don't know if my work will allow me to be gone that long without me losing my job. And so that would be the easy route if all that would happen, but I really don't know that it can, and quite honestly I feel like that's a little bit of a pipe dream. So I feel like I'm left with having to try and beat this on my own.
Okay. Would that be something you would be willing to look at this week before we meet again, and look into the options with your insurance and possibility for inpatient treatment? If if the insurance did pay and whatnot, would you be comfortable talking to your supervisor about getting the time off to do that?
Well, I haven't even told my supervisor. I mean, he suspects it. I know he does, but he has no idea that I'm using alcohol, so that feels really risky to me.
Okay.
I mean, all he knows is that I've called in sick, and he brought up the shaking in my hand one time and asked me if I had a problem, but I told him I didn't. So I told him I had problems with sugar levels, so that's what I told him that day.
Okay, so it sounds like you might have a little bit of some nerves going on about discussing that with him then, if that were to come up.
Yeah.
Okay, well, why don't, for this week, you look into a couple of inpatient treatment programs and find out if they would accept your insurance and what the qualifications would be, and and then, you know, we can kind of move from there if it does qualify and you can afford it, and that is a route that you decide you'd like to go after discussing with the treatment program, then we can maybe look into, you know, discussing it with your supervisor a little bit further, and do some role play and hopefully walk you through that if that's the route you want to go. There's also, like you had mentioned, good groups like NA or AA that are around town that you could do outpatient. And with those, you know, you can use that. You can take it personally past, if you were to go to an AA, past the alcohol and use it for your cocaine use as well. Just adapt those same principles for both, and try that too. So it's kind of up to you. You know, if you want to research them a little bit further this week and maybe discuss with Molly a little bit more and maybe get her input on it. You know, you said you wanted to keep her in the loop of what was going on,
Right.
and you think that might help her understanding and working towards you being able to see Sarah a little bit more and be at the birthday party and that type of thing. Is that something you'd be willing to do this week?
Yeah, so you want me to look into my insurance and probably attend one of the support groups, preferably the one that I feel like is the most important or time available for me. And try to talk to Molly and let her know where I'm at and explore the birthday party and what options I have for that.
Yeah, using this ruler again, you know, where would you say that you were at this point in being able to do that this week? Do you feel like you would absolutely no way be able to do it, or that you're at a 10
Well,
already?
I'm really glad you asked me that way because I thought you were going to ask me if I was ready to make a complete change, and I don't know that I feel like I'm past me, but to be able to commit to what you just asked me, I can tell you that I'm a 10.
Okay, that's really good.
I feel like I can do that.
Are there any concerns or questions that you have for me at this point towards those that, you know, we might be able to walk through?
I don't really, I can't really think of anything.
Okay. And are you, with talking to Molly, are you a 10 as well? Are you pretty comfortable with discussing that with her?
Well, I already kind of broke the barrier with telling her that I had been coming to see you last week, so I don't have any problem going back to her and visiting with her and giving her an update. So I think I could say I'm a 10 with that.
Okay, that's really good. Really good. Okay. Well, if you don't have any other questions this week, then we'll plan on meeting back next week at the same time and go over what you found and maybe decide which direction would be best for you from what you found with that.